A boy stood on the ancient walls of his father's formidable fort, his small figure outlined against the vast Central Asian sky, gazing out over the land he would one day be called to rule. He was just 12 years old, a child named Zahir-ud-din Muhammad, who would later be known to the world as Babur, the Tiger, a name that would echo through history. It was the year 1494, in the lush, fertile Fergana Valley, a place of beauty and promise, now part of modern Uzbekistan. Babur's father, Umar Sheikh Mirza, ruled this small but strategically important kingdom. Yet power here was always fragile, threatened by rivals and shifting alliances. Then, in a sudden twist of fate, his father's dovecote collapsed into a deep ravine, killing him instantly and leaving the kingdom in shock. Babur, still just a boy, was thrust onto the throne, forced to wear the crown before he was ready. There was no time to mourn or even to understand his loss. His uncles and cousins, sensing weakness in the new ruler, quickly marched their armies toward his borders, eager to seize power for themselves. The boy king faced immediate and overwhelming danger, surrounded by enemies on all sides, and even doubted by his own nobles and advisors. Babur had to learn quickly to command soldiers in battle, to negotiate with treacherous relatives, and to defend his inheritance from those who would take it. In his memoir, the Baburnama, he later described the shock and loneliness. A boy who loved poetry and gardens, suddenly forced to become a warrior and a king. The crown fell on his head, not with ceremony or celebration, but with the dust and sorrow of his father's ruin. Yet, Babur did not falter. He gathered his most loyal followers, rallied his supporters, and prepared for the battles that lay ahead. This was only the first of many tests in a life defined by struggle, ambition, and the constant fight for survival. The boy who inherited a kingdom from the sky would spend his life fighting not just to keep it, but to build something far greater, a legacy that would outlast him. His journey, one of history's most remarkable odysseys, had only just begun, with every step shaping the destiny of empires. The world would soon come to know the name Babur, a name that would change the course of history. The story of the Mughal Empire, a tale of ambition, resilience, and vision, was about to unfold. Babur was no ordinary prince. He carried the blood of Timur, the conqueror of Samarkand, and Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire. This lineage gave him pride, but also a heavy burden. Central Asia was a patchwork of rival kingdoms, all ruled by Timurid or Mongol princes, cousins, uncles, nephews, locked in endless conflict. Alliances shifted, brothers fought brothers, and survival depended on cunning and strength. Babur's Fergana was a tempting prize, surrounded by powerful enemies. To the west was Samarkand, the city every prince coveted. To the north, the Uzbek tribes led by Muhammad Shaybani Khan, Babur's greatest rival. In this world, a famous name was not enough. Babur had to learn to navigate treacherous politics, or be swept away like so many before him. The stage was set for a struggle that would shape empires. For Babur, Samarkand was more than just a city. It was his birthright, the legendary jewel of his ancestor Timur, and a symbol of power and legacy that had captivated his imagination since childhood. At only 15 years old, Babur seized his chance and captured Samarkand after a grueling and exhausting siege, proving his courage and ambition to the world. But while he celebrated his hard-won victory, rebellion erupted in his homeland of Fergana, threatening everything he had left behind. Forced to make an impossible choice, Babur lost both kingdoms, Samarkand and Fergana, becoming a king without a throne, wandering in exile and uncertainty. Undeterred by defeat, Babur tried again, recapturing Samarkand in a daring and risky night assault that became legendary in his story. The city welcomed him back as a hero, but his rival Shaybani Khan soon returned with overwhelming force, determined to reclaim the city. Outnumbered and surrounded, Babur was besieged, starved, and ultimately forced to surrender, watching his dreams slip away once more. Twice he had won Samarkand, and twice he had lost everything: his city, his people, and his hope for a lasting legacy. The obsession with Samarkand cost him dearly, but it also forged his resolve, shaping him into a leader who would not give up. In his memoir, Babur wrote with raw honesty about these defeats, sharing his pain, doubts, and lessons learned with future generations. Each loss taught him resilience and humility, reminding him that true greatness is born from struggle and perseverance. The dream of Samarkand would haunt him for years, but it would also drive him onward, pushing him to seek a new destiny beyond the city's walls. Babur's journey was far from over. His spirit remained unbroken, and his ambitions only grew stronger with each setback. He would soon look beyond Central Asia for his future, setting his sights on new lands and greater challenges. The seeds of empire were being sown in defeat, and from these hardships, a new chapter in history was about to begin. Exiled at 19, Babur wandered the mountains with a handful of loyal followers. He endured hunger, cold, and despair, sharing every hardship with his men. In the Baburnama, he describes these years with brutal honesty, his mistakes, fears, and moments of depression. Yet, these trials forged his character. He learned humility, resilience, and the value of loyalty. Even in darkness, he found solace in nature, writing about flowers and landscapes. Babur was no longer just a prince, he was a survivor. He could not return north. The Uzbeks were too strong. He needed a new kingdom, a new beginning. The search for a future would lead him south, over the mountains. The next chapter of his life was about to begin. Babur's fortunes changed dramatically when he turned his gaze south to Kabul, a city thrown into chaos after the death of his uncle. The city, once a crossroads of cultures and empires, was now vulnerable and ripe for new leadership. In 1504, with only his loyal followers by his side, Babur braved the treacherous passes of the Hindu Kush. Against the odds, he crossed the mountains and seized Kabul with surprisingly little resistance, marking a turning point in his journey. At just 21 years old, Babur was a king once more, reclaiming a throne and a sense of purpose. Kabul was not the fabled Samarkand he had lost, but it offered something invaluable, a secure base. The city was defensible, breathtakingly beautiful, and perfectly positioned on the ancient Silk Road connecting east and west. Here, Babur began to shape his vision. He built lush gardens, established a vibrant court, and, for the first time in years, found a place he could truly call home. The Baghi Babur, his beloved garden and a symbol of his legacy, still stands in Kabul today, a living reminder of his dreams. From the safety and beauty of Kabul, Babur's ambitions only grew stronger, fueled by hope and determination. The Uzbeks blocked his path north, forcing him to reconsider his destiny. So, he looked east, to the legendary riches and opportunities of India. Babur began probing the borders of the powerful Delhi Sultanate, testing its strength and searching for weaknesses. Kabul became his sanctuary, his stronghold, and the springboard for his next great adventure. The wandering prince had transformed into a determined conqueror, preparing for a campaign that would soon change the course of history forever. Babur's eyes were now set firmly on Hindustan, the land of promise and challenge. The stage was set for the rise of a new empire, and Babur was ready to seize his destiny. For over 20 years, Babur ruled Kabul, but the dream of empire never faded. The Delhi Sultanate was weak, and Babur received an invitation from discontented nobles to invade India. He saw this as destiny, a chance to claim Timur's legacy. In 1525, Babur marched into India with 12,000 seasoned soldiers. His secret weapon, gunpowder artillery, rare in the subcontinent. Ottoman experts trained his men, giving him a decisive edge. Babur crossed into the Punjab, recording his impressions of this vast, unfamiliar land. He was not just a raider, but a contender for an imperial throne. The fate of India was about to be decided. In April 1526, Babur's small army faced Sultan Ibrahim Lodi's massive force at Panipat. Outnumbered, Babur relied on strategy, fortifying his position with carts, trenches, and gunpowder weapons. When Lodi's army charged, Babur's cannons and muskets unleashed chaos, terrifying the war elephants. The elephants trampled their own men, and Babur's cavalry swept in from the flanks. By noon, the battle was over. Ibrahim Lodi lay dead, his army destroyed. Babur had won a stunning victory. The road to Delhi and Agra was open. The Mughal Empire was born, Babur's use of gunpowder changed Indian warfare forever. He was now master of Hindustan, but new challenges awaited. The Rajputs, led by Rana Sanga, would soon test his rule. Babur's greatest battles were still to come. A new era had begun. After Panipat, Babur claimed Delhi and Agra, but his position was fragile. His men, weary of India's heat, wanted to return home. Babur rallied them, insisting their destiny was in India. Soon, the Rajput Confederacy, led by Rana Sanga, challenged him at Kanwa. Outnumbered again, Babur used his signature tactics: fortified lines, cannons, and flanking cavalry. The Rajput charge broke, Rana Sanga was wounded, and the Confederacy shattered. This victory secured Babur's empire. He began building gardens, mosques, and a new administration, blending Central Asian and Indian cultures. Babur continued writing his memoir, the Baburnama, capturing his world in vivid detail. His rule marked the start of a new era, one of art, innovation, and empire. The foundations of Mughal India were laid. Babur died in 1530, aged 47, after just 4 years in India. He was buried in Kabul, the city he loved most. His life was a saga of loss, resilience, and ultimate triumph. The Mughal Empire he founded would rule India for over 3 centuries, shaping its art, architecture, and culture. Babur's introduction of gunpowder changed Indian warfare forever. His greatest legacy, perhaps, is the Baburnama, a candid, poetic memoir revealing a complex, deeply human emperor. Babur was not just a conqueror, but a poet, naturalist, and honest chronicler of his own flaws. His journey from Fergana to Delhi is a testament to perseverance and vision. Babur's story reminds us that history is shaped by the dreams and struggles of real people. The restless prince became the founder of an empire and a legend for the ages.